Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to our first ever live edition of Team Melli Talk. And I just said Team Melli, that is by popular demand. So, thank you for the advice. Really do appreciate it. So, of course, I am Art Takari, host of Team Melli Talk. We're really glad that you can join us. We are live right now on YouTube and on Instagram. Thank you for joining us. Really do appreciate it. As you know, Team Melli just had a 5-0 victory over Yemen. Okay, perfect start to the Asian Cup. Now, of course, let's start with the man of the match. For me, it was obviously Mehdi Taremi. 2 goals and an assist. He was in the right place at the right time. I'm sure a lot of you have your own opinion on who you think the player, on who you think the man of the match was. But for me, it's just got to be Mehdi Taremi. Hey everyone, thank you for joining us. Really great to have you. So, with this game, everything seemed to go well. I was a little surprised with the starting lineup that Carlos Queiroz chose. And yes, those of you watching, yes, I do see you. And like I said, I'll get to Carlos Queiroz's lineup in a little bit. And one thing before we move on, I'd like to thank everyone for all the support. We've reached over 100 subscribers on YouTube. Please make sure you subscribe if you have not done so yet. Right. Now, for those of you who watched some of our recent editions of Team Melli Talk, I talked about what Iran needs to do to make sure that they win this tournament. Now, one of those things I mentioned, I said play hard, I said keep your heads down. Basically, I'm sending the message, just don't do anything dumb, really. And it was during that game against Yemen, right before that free kick from Ashkan Dejaga, and Sardar Azmoun was getting in that tussle. That player on Yemen, do I know his name? No, of course not. But he basically shoved them to the ground, as they were tussling before that free kick. Now, in a later round, in the knockout phase, I could just easily see Sardar Azmoun getting, a red card for doing such a boneheaded mistake. So my advice to you, Sardar, please, nothing like that. You need to use your head and be smart. Come on, man. You're an awesome player. Now, another thing from that game, and my good friend Arya Alaverdi of Golbazan pointed it out. Arya is probably the biggest fan I know of center back Majid Hosseini. Like, seriously, the biggest fan. And Majid Hosseini, great player. He's aggressive. Maybe we could say our Team Melli players were a little too aggressive during that match. Majid Hosseini had that tackle where you could really look back at it and say that he probably should have been given a red card. And, this is not what Iran needs right now. Does Iran have depth? Yes, of course they have depth. I trust Pejman Montazeri very much. But Majid Hosseini and Mortaza Pouraliganji, they are our best center backs, bottom line. So basically, going on to my next thing, involving the lineup. I think a lot of people were surprised to see Ashkan Dejaga in the lineup. And I don't really find myself getting surprised in a negative way about that. Ashkan is a great player. As for those of you watching, yes, I sure hope Iran does destroy Saudi Arabia. Thank you for the support. What I was saying is, seeing Ashkan in the lineup is good, and it's early on the tournament. We know that Carlos Queiroz is going to have some surprises available for upcoming opponents that Iran will face in the Asian Cup. So we got to wait and see how things go there. Now, a certain position I continue to voice my displeasure with. Look, I like Ehsan Hajsafi, but I think he would do well playing at the defensive midfield position. Seeing him as a left back, come on. Where is Milad Mohammadi? Milad needs to be starting at left back. The man is a beast. He played really well against Spain and against Portugal at the World Cup. And one of our supporters here says that Iran is saving Jahanbash for the knockout stages. That sounds about right. Next, another question from one of our followers named Kian Bonaktar. That first comment was from Darren Yahya Khan, saying that Iran are saving Jahanbash for the knockout stages. Next, Kian, my good friend, also said, what's your opinion on Rouzbeh Cheshmi, right? My opinion on Rouzbeh, well, the truth is, he's a good center back. I was at that game against Morocco and Russia at the World Cup, and he put in a very good performance. So I think I'm fully confident in him as well. Leading up to the World Cup, I was not very high on Ruzbet Cheshmi, but I would feel confident if he had to come in and play, whether it's at the center back position or the defensive midfield role. So we got to see what happens there, but I feel like Ehsan Hajsafi will have to be on the field no matter what. You could be Ehsan Hajsafi playing defensive midfield with Omid Ibrahimi. Carlos Queiroz will have to figure out something, but we got to see Milad Mohammadi there, and one of the comments I've seen here, Darren has said he'd like to see Milad Mohammadi because he's very aggressive. Absolutely. I mean, the man is a beast. He's very physical. Next question we have here is, do I think Ali Reza Beiranvand will be clutch in this tournament? Absolutely. I mean, Beiro is the man. And if whoever's listened to some of our recent podcasts, my recent guest was Dara Zarandi, really great guy, very knowledgeable of Team Melli. I feel like Ali Reza Beiranvand, look, dare I say it, but I have no choice. I have to say it, obviously, is that we do not want to see a penalty shootout for Iran in this tournament. And of course, that makes me sick to my stomach because of all the bad memories. But if that happens, I would be really confident in Ali Reza Beiranvand. And, when I look back at that last shootout between Iran and Iraq in 2015, I wanted to pull my hair out because Ali Reza Hagigi was just bouncing around. So I know Hagigi's a good keeper, but wasn't too thrilled that time. What can I say? Let's see, say hi to the people joining. So like I said, going over the lineup to me has been good. And, I've been listening to other podcasts lately. And, so I feel like some Team LA fans are, look, we're happy Iran won 5-0, okay? Make no mistake. Obviously, we're happy. But I feel like some Team LA fans might be getting a little carried away, saying, does this mean we're on the way to win the title? Come on, let me put something in black and white. Yemen is nothing special. That's a team we had to destroy, and we did. So, and with that, obviously a good result, but you got to move on and make adjustments no matter who Team Ellie is playing. And the next game against Vietnam. And before I get back to previewing Iran versus Vietnam, Darren here has said that Iran needs to start Saman Ghodus. I think he could start. It wouldn't be a bad thing. But one other thing I like to say about Saman Ghodus is, maybe he will be that secret weapon for Carlos Queiroz off the bench. And get him rested, but get him in sooner. Don't let it be like the World Cup where the last game he came in last 20 minutes, but the other games he came in just for the last few minutes. So he needs, and I think Carlos Queiroz is smart enough to know that Saman Ghodus needs to play more minutes. And now, like I said, previewing now the next game against Vietnam. And if you've been following my blogs on Tumblr, yes, we are on Tumblr as well, so you can find us teamelitalk.tumblr.com. My prediction for Iran versus Vietnam, I picked 3-0. So I think Iran will beat Vietnam 3-0. But I wrote that before Vietnam played against Iraq. And, what a performance. I mean, Vietnam, they have a young team. They only lost 3-2 to Iraq. Maybe Iraq underestimated Vietnam. And I've heard that Vietnam has, the youngest team at the Asian Cup. But that doesn't surprise me that we're seeing some speed and some good technique from the Vietnamese national team. After all, they did finish second place at the 2018 U23 Asian Championship. They lost to Uzbekistan in the final. So clearly they have some talented players. Now for this game between Iran and Vietnam, I'm sure everyone's expecting an easy victory. I think Iran should win easily, but I am quick to say that I believe Vietnam will be a much more difficult opponent than Yemen. I mean, Yemen really couldn't do anything. I mean, come on. I'm sure they have a decent amount of players that are playing in the domestic league in Yemen, but they also have players, maybe a few players playing in Oman or some other countries. But, we'll move past that. So, like I said, for the match against Vietnam, like I said, Vietnam will be a tougher opposition, over Yemen. But this is a game Team Ellie must win. But, at the other, my superstitious side is telling me something as well, saying, look, in the past few Asian Cups, go back to 2015, Iran won all 3 group matches, eliminated in the quarters on penalties. 2011, won all 3, same thing. 2007, well, actually, they did win. Basically, in recent tournaments, it seems like when Iran has won all 3 of their games, They seem to have that bad luck, but forget it. The fact is, let's just say if Iran were to have a bad game in the group phase, whether it's against Vietnam or against Iraq, maybe they get a tie in one of those two games, I don't think I would be really angry because I'm a firm believer of get one of those bad games out of the way in the group stage. Don't let that bad game come in the knockout phase because you lose one and it's over. There's no tomorrow. So let's see what some of our supporters are saying. It says over here, if Iran finish first place in their group, they'll play a team from Group B, E, or F. Well, it's easy right now to speculate on who that opponent can be, but I don't want to really go that far in advance right now. It's got to be one game at a time. First thing is first, got to take care of business against Vietnam. They're going to put up a fight. They're going to do what they can to frustrate Team Melli, the national team of Iran. So with that, I think we'll be wrapping up our first ever live edition of Team Melli Talk. Like I said, I'm getting better with the Team Melli. And for all the supporters, I really do appreciate it. Make sure you know where to find us on social media. You can find our website, teammellitalk.com. Like I said before, make sure you subscribe on YouTube if you have not done yet already. And one last thing, one of our supporters said, that's Darren again saying, against Vietnam, we need to rest our players. Got to rest some players, not going to rest them all, but I don't think they should go into that game, fielding a B team and throwing, and we don't want Team Melli getting thrown off their rhythm for the other games. Got to rest some, but not a lot. So make a good point there. So like I said, thank you everybody for joining us. We will have some more live editions coming up during the 2019 Asian Cup. And also, be on the lookout. We will be having our first ever giveaway. So keep your eyes peeled. Make sure you tune in to Team Melli Talk. And we'll see you next time, everyone. Khodafis. And go Team Melli.